Hi there, everyone. You've got Jenni and Amanda here with Women in Rural Real Estate. Today, we want to have a little chat with you about sellers, the seller's position. The most important step is what are they planning on doing once they sell? Really understanding what their long-term goal is and making sure you help guide them in an appropriate way.
Yeah, what their plans are for the next step of their life are going to affect this deal if you're trying to sell their house. Like sellers who need to sell so they can downsize into something smaller and
Mm-hmm.
cheaper in retirement. Sellers who are moving closer to a hospital, lots of that.
Yeah, well, here in 100 Mile House, anyways, we do have a lot of sellers that they love to stay in the area, but the reality is there's not a lot of downsizing senior options. So some of them are going out into more urban centers, especially where they have access to more healthcare services.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things that I really like to do is find out what their future goal is, where they would like to go, and work out a referral with an agent in that area so they can immediately get in touch with somebody there so that they can start understanding the market there because you're not an expert in a different market.
Mm-hmm.
So you can advise them on this market, and then when you connect them to a realtor in another market, you can also work with that realtor and make sure that you're making the whole transaction flow together
Seamlessly.
and they know what to anticipate when they're buying in that market.
Yeah. Also, they know what to like how to handle here because it's going to affect there. I had a seller once who we had been on the market for 3 months. She had listed higher than I wanted her to. And after 3 months, she said, Amanda, we need to put the price up by 40,000. And I was like, what? She was like, well, I can't buy anything at this price. So we need to sell my house for more. And I thought, oh no.
Well, and I mean that's a terrible position to be in.
Yeah.
So, having your sellers do some pre-research with a professional in the area they're hoping to move to, so
Mm-hmm.
that they have realistic expectations before you put their home on the market. That's a great place to start.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also do that research on the mortgage stuff. Lots of people say, oh, it's not going to be a problem for us to get a mortgage when we get to the other side. But do they know that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Especially when they don't have, a lot of income coming in, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe they're just think, well, I have $500,000 in the bank, so why couldn't I get a mortgage? That's
Yeah.
not how banks qualify.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's really important if they're hoping to get a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if they need to pay out a mortgage,
Yeah.
what is it going to cost them to clear title? Did they just refinance a year ago and now they were going to have a huge penalty?
Yeah.
I mean, my previous career was a real estate conveyancer for a law firm, and I can't tell you how many times that files got to my desk, and I ordered the mortgage payout statement, and the sellers would come in to sign, and they would gasp at
Yeah.
how much their mortgage is to pay out because they didn't realize they would have a 3 month penalty or an interest rate differential or whatever the case may be. And there was one particular case I remember where it put the seller in a position where they actually couldn't clear title anymore because
Oh, big
the
problems.
yeah, because the prepayment penalty was 20,000. So
Oh,
where they thought they were at a break even point, they weren't.
yeah.
So that's a really really bad position to put your sellers in.
Yeah. They should not be finding this stuff out at the last minute. It's our job to make sure that they're covered.
Well, and as we're experiencing a little bit of changes in the market
Mm-hmm.
and prices are being adjusted in certain locations and there's just, there's some uncertainty around things and a lot of people did purchase just over the last few years in a market that was moving very fast
Mm-hmm.
and was, decently inflated. If they're all of a sudden turning around and selling, it's going to be really really important that you check these things.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also a lot of what we do in the rural market is rec properties, properties that are not principal residences, and properties that might qualify for capital gains tax.
Remember that you are not an expert
Yes.
in taxes and income taxes and capital gains. I mean, I know the courses that we're taught expect us to know all of this, but you really need to watch that fine line between advising them that there is a potential here and advising them of exactly what that is. They need to get the advice from the accountant, but you need to trigger them to make sure that they are aware they need that advice from their accountant.
Yeah. Other advice or other things they need to be made aware of. There's different mortgage rules around like mobiles and modulars. So maybe they don't think that there's going to be, like they think there's going to be more buyers who can qualify because they don't understand those rules are different. Or maybe they have, ripped out all of the flooring on the main floor and the bathroom, and now they want to sell without like a completed functioning house, and the banks don't like some of those things. So making sure they understand how all that works and how it's going to affect the pool of buyers that can buy their houses.
A big one is siding.
Yeah.
Banks like when they're siding on a house.
Yeah.
So it's really important to, and I mean, I know me personally, when I'm pricing a property and I'm talking to my clients about the realities of selling in the market we're in at any given time, is I always like to think of who the potential buyer pool is.
Yeah.
And talk about that with the clients. I mean, if it's an odd layout or something, be forthcoming with some of the challenges you see, so that when you are sitting on the market for several months and your consistent feedback is, well, there's only one bedroom on the main level and I want 3 on one level because I have a family, or whatever the case may be, that's not a shock to your clients, that you've kind of prepared them that we were going to be met with a few challenges.
Yeah. Challenges like, man, your catwalk really stinks. I mean, if it does, you should be telling people. That's one that comes up kind of often. Yeah. So hopefully we've given you some things to think about being real sure what your seller's position is, where they want to go, and that they understand what's going to affect the deal. And
ultimately what it's going to take to get them there.
Mm-hmm.
Have a whole overview.
Yes. Thanks for joining us today. We're the Women in Rural Real Estate, and we're here to help.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.